A man threw a large amount of cash from the rooftop, causing a commotion among the crowd below. They wished someone would jump off the building every day. However, they didn't know that the man had a different agenda. He was covering for his brother who was planning a robbery. John and his partner arrived at a pre-arranged spot and set up their equipment. After getting everything in place, they dragged over steel plates and connected them. They then fixed the plates and drilled a hole in the center, placing a bomb inside. Finally, they covered it with a mattress. With everything ready, they waited for Nick's signal to take action. The screams from the crowd successfully masked the sound of the explosion. Nick, seeing the plan go smoothly, let out a sigh of relief, but the key part of the operation was still to come. He asked Leah for a cigarette to calm his nerves. Leah lit it and handed it to him, making sure to ask for half. After taking the other half, Leah passed it to the colleagues inside to collect fingerprints. Meanwhile, John and his partner used the hole created by the explosion to enter the ventilation system. They stopped the fan with an iron rod, bent the blades, and crawled inside. They then sent the elevator to the top floor and used the elevator shaft to access the diamond vault. They smoothly arrived at the vault's door and planned to enter through a side ventilation shaft. At that moment, the police identified Nick through the fingerprints. It turned out that Nick had been arrested a few years ago for stealing diamonds and had just escaped from prison yesterday. The hotel they were in was the same hotel where the diamonds had been stolen. Harris's Diamond Exchange was located just across the street. Upon hearing the news, the sheriff immediately contacted the head of security and instructed him to check the vault. Reflecting on Nick's previous remarks, Leah finally understood that Nick was never actually planning to jump. She went to the window to confront him. It turned out that years ago Nick had been assigned a job to escort diamonds, but two masked men had robbed him along the way, framing him for the crime and sending him to prison. The mastermind behind it all was none other than Harris, the diamond owner. Back then, Harris's company was on the brink of bankruptcy, so he had designed the heist to steal his own diamonds and scam the insurance company. Nick had simply been a scapegoat. The diamonds were still with Harris, and everything Nick had done today was to find the diamonds and prove his innocence. Nick pleaded with Leah for help, revealing that the two men involved were actually police officers and the only place he would be safe was here. The captain thought it was impossible for a thief to get into this building, but he hadn't noticed the cameras in the hallway frozen in place. Meanwhile, Harris, having learned of the situation, summoned the sheriff to his office. It turned out the sheriff was one of the masked men from the robbery. Harris ordered the sheriff to deal with Nick quickly or else he would expose everything. The sheriff then called in a SWAT team, using Nick's status as a dangerous fugitive as an excuse to launch a full-scale operation to capture him.